श्री स्वामीनारायण भगवाननी जय, अक्षर पुरुषोत्तम महाराजनी जय, राधा कृष्ण देवनी जय, सियावर रामचंद्र भगवाननी जय, उमापति महादेवनी जय, प्रमुख स्वामी महाराजनी जय, महंत स्वामी महाराजनी जय, प्रमुख स्वामी महाराज शताब्दी महोत्सवनी जय, लंदन मंदिर रजत जयंती महोत्सवनी जय। In last week's Timeless Hindu Wisdom series, we were looking at the Ramayan. Specifically, we were analyzing the return of Ramchandra Bhagwan to Ayodhya after spending something like 14 years away from home, 14 years in exile. And we learnt that the cause of his having to depart from Ayodhya, the cause for him having to renounce the throne, to spend 14 years in isolation, in lockdown, was because of one of the queens of his father. His father was Dashrath, and one of his queens, Kaikeyi, she decided to extract 2 promises from Dashrath Raja, which he had given many years before. And because of those 2 promises or 2 boons, Kaikeyi, she forced King Dashrath to tell Ramachandraji to renounce the throne and to spend 14 years in exile. So when Ramachandraji returns after 14 years, after all the trials and the tribulations and the battles, what does he do? So we were looking at the way he conducted himself in front of Queen Kaikeyi, the one who had been the cause of all the troubles over the last 14 years. But Ramachandraji, he chose to address Queen Kaikeyi with respect. He chose to forgive her. He chose to forget the past. And he used kind words to speak to her. Moving on, Ramachandraji, not only did he speak words of kindness, but he was genuinely grateful to Queen Kaikeyi, the words we saw last week and we'll see again. He was genuinely grateful. He felt gratitude. You know, we write thanks at the end of an email. Over the phone we say thanks is better than saying nothing. But sometimes that thanks has to be genuine. It's not just a matter of words. We are all expressing our thanks in these troubled times. It's very good. We say thank you to all the people who are helping us, all the key workers. We clap our hands every Thursday. We observed silence last Friday for those people who had given up their lives in the Second World War as we commemorated the 75th anniversary of VE Day, Victory in Europe Day. We clap our hands. We may give gifts to people to say thank you. Our boys and girls have been making drawings or sketchings so they can also pass those on to those key workers in the NHS. So these are ways of saying thank you, ways of expressing our gratitude. However, even more so than that, how can we really express our gratitude? We've been hearing time and time again, stay at home, protect the NHS. Maintain a safe distance, protect the NHS. Wash your hands carefully and frequently, protect the NHS. By following the rules, by following the guidelines, that is actually the most effective and best way of expressing our gratitude. because that will in turn protect the NHS and help those key workers on the line to cope with whatever they have to cope with. So Ramchandra Bhagwan was grateful. You know, many people, they have everything in this world, but they're not so grateful. And actually, it makes them sad. Someone has said, it is not happy people who are grateful. It is grateful people who are happy. So learn to appreciate others. Don't take things for granted. Value others for what they are doing. Kids value their parents. Parents also value their kids. Be thankful for everything that God has given to us. So in this way, gratitude. This is what Ramchandra Bhagwan expressed to Queen Kaikeyi. And the thing about gratitude is, it's something that grows. It is said that gratitude is the healthiest of all human emotions. The more you express gratitude for what you have, the more likely you will have even more to express gratitude for. So positivity breeds positivity. That is the importance of gratitude. Going on to number 6, Ramchandra Bhagwan will now go through the verse in detail. He said to Queen Kaikeyi, he used to address her as Kaikeyi Mata, as mother, and he said to her that because of you I've been able to learn so much. Bhagwan Swaminarayan in the Vaishnamrit, he explains about Gun Grahak Drashti, learning from other people, not exposing their flaws, even though we may know their flaws, not focusing on their flaws, but focus on their positive attributes. Observe, look, search for virtues in other people, and you will find something to emulate. This is what we call Gun Grahak Drashti, looking at the good. Once the Guru of Pramukh Swami Maharaj and Monsoon Swami Maharaj, Yogiji Maharaj, he got onto a train with a group of sadhus. And as per Yogiji Maharaj's inclination, he would often spend much of his time engaged in either spiritual reading or singing devotional songs. So they got onto a train, and the train was fairly empty, and Yogiji Maharaj started singing bhajans. And the sadhus, the devotees that were with him, a few of them, they also joined in singing those devotional songs. After a short while, some rowdy youths, they got onto the train, they took their seats. Now Yogiji Maharaj and the other sadhus were singing fairly quietly, not disturbing anybody. Yet those youths, they started playing cards, nothing wrong with that. But then they told Yogiji Maharaj, not very politely, that stop what you are doing, as if they own the whole train. Yogiji Maharaj folded his hands, stopped what he was doing, continued singing maybe in his heart. Some of the sadhus or devotees with Yogiji Maharaj didn't like this. One of the devotees even got up to tell the youths, but Yogiji Maharaj stopped him. And these guys or these youths were now playing cards on the train, making quite a lot of noise, but who could tell them? And then after a short while, after a few stops, there was a commotion. And these guys started arguing with each other. And as soon as the next stop came, they all rushed off the train. What had happened was that they missed their stop. So then they had to travel a little bit further. And so obviously they were inconvenienced. So when the devotees learnt about this, they said to Yogiji Maharaj that, Swami, it serves them right. They told you to stop singing. They told you very arrogantly and impolitely, they deserve it. And when Yogiji Maharaj heard these words, the first thing he said, Guru. Yogiji Maharaj also spoke to everyone with respect and used to address people as Guru. Okay, Guru, we shouldn't speak like that. And another devotee chipped in. He said, why not? They told you to stop singing. They deserve it. And Yogiji Maharaj said, Guru, the way that they were involved and absorbed, engrossed in playing cards, we should also become that engrossed when we meditate, when we pray, when we sing of God's praises. This was Yogiji Maharaj. The people who had just humiliated him, insulted him, but he managed to take something positive from their lives. Not looking at 99 faults or flaws, but focusing on one good virtue or quality. So in the same way, Ramchandra Bhagwan, he says in the verse that we touched upon last week, Tata Sneha, Bharata Mahima, Paurusham Vayu Sunoho. We'll take each phrase in turn. Tata Sneho. Tat means father. Ramchandra Bhagwan is saying, oh mother, because of your grace, I have been able to learn so much. I would never have been able to realize the love of my father. He says, my father, he loved me from the day I was born. My father, he gave me the throne. My father was so upset when he found out and when he was told that may Ramachandraji not have the throne. He was so upset when he learnt that I had to go into exile for 14 years. But I followed his commands, and a short while later, he was so grief-stricken by the fact that he had lost me, Ramachandraji is saying, that he died. Imagine his love for me. I would not have understood that love if I had not gone in exile for 14 years. Ramachandraji goes on to say, Bharata Mahima. Okay, look, I've understood the greatness of Bharat. Bharat was Ramachandraji's brother. Now, Bharatji, he was so angry with his mother. His mother, Kaikeyi, thought that Bharat's going to be so pleased when he finds out that he's got the throne. But Bharatji was of a different metal. Bharatji was so angry with his mother, and he refused to accept the throne. So Ramachandraji is explaining, I've understood these virtues, the greatness of Bharat. And then when Bharatji returned and found out that Ramachandraji has gone into exile, what does he do? He doesn't even think, okay, he'll be back after 14 years. He immediately went to call Ramachandraji and Lakshman and Sitaji back. And they met in Chitrakut. And he prayed no end to Ramachandraji, please come back, please come back. I do not deserve the throne. I am not worthy of ruling the people of Ayodhya. Yet Ramachandraji said, no, we have to follow father's wishes. So Bharatji, he actually never did sit on the throne in Ayodhya. It is said he never even went there. He ruled Ayodhya from Nandigram. He never sat on the throne, but he took Ramachandraji's paduka, his sandals, wooden sandals. And Bharatji, praying every single day, learning from Ramachandraji's life and taking inspiration from him, he ruled the kingdom of Ayodhya. It is said that Bharatji didn't even sleep on a bed. Forget a bed. He didn't even sleep on the ground. Because he thought, Ramachandraji, Sitaji, Lakshmanji, there's no bed in the forests. They'll be sleeping on the bare floor or on the ground. So how can I even sleep on the ground? So he dug a hole in the ground. And that's how he slept for 14 years. It is said that Bharatji, he waited. He counted every single day, every single hour, every single minute, every single second. Okay, when will Ramachandraji be back? He was waiting for those 14 years to end. That was the nobility of Bharat. So that's why Ramachandraji says to his mother, Bharata Mahima, that I understood the great virtues of Bharatji because of what has happened. Paurusham Vayu Sunoho. Vayu Sunoho means the son of Vayudev, the Pavanaputra Hanumanji. I understood the might of Hanumanji because of everything that happened. Hanumanji, we heard about his leap across to Lanka. He went to find Sita. He was successful. He set Lanka on fire. He crossed the ocean with the army of monkeys, with Ramchandra Bhagwan and the whole army, when they went to fight Ravan in Lanka. When Lakshman became unconscious, Hanumanji was told to get the herbs from the mountain somewhere in the Himalayas, the Oshad. And at that time, Hanumanji, he brought back the whole mountain. So this was his devotion, this was his might. And he could expand his form at will, he could shrink his form at will. So Ramachandraji is saying to Kaikeyi Mata that I understood Paurusham Vayu Sunoho, the might of Hanumanji. He goes on to explain, Sakhyam Chapi Plavaga Nrupate, which means I understood the friendship of Sugriv. Sugriv was someone who Ramachandraji had never met before, but they befriended each other and they helped each other through times thick and thin. And then he goes on to say, Kwapi Saumitra Bhaktihi, that I understood the bhakti, the devotion of Lakshmanji. Now Lakshman was Ramachandraji's brother. Lakshman, he took it upon himself that I will also go into exile for 14 years. He also had a family at home. But he decided that I will protect Ramachandraji and Sitaji. It is said that he protected Ram Bhagwan and Sitaji by staying awake. Maybe he didn't sleep for those 14 years. Wherever they used to go in the different places in the forests, he used to build a cottage and then make sure that Ramchandra and Sitaji were both comfortable. Anyone who created obstacles, he would fight those demons off as well. And he fought very bravely, with courage, in the war in Lanka. So Ramachandraji explains, I would have never understood the immeasurable devotion of the son of Sumitra, Lakshmanji. So again, Ramachandraji is going through all these qualities, virtues that he's picked up over the last 14 years. He goes on to say, Sita Satyam, Mama Bhuja Balam, Vairinam Vaira Bhavaha. Sita Satyam. I would never have realized how devout Sitaji is or was. Because Sitaji, again, she was not told to accompany Ramchandra Bhagwan, but she went out of her own will and accompanied her husband. Sitaji, she was at Ram's side in the forest, whatever happened. Now this was a Sitaji, she was the daughter of King Janak. She had been brought up as a princess. She had been brought up amidst luxury, comforts. She had everything. Yet she chose to renounce that life to accompany Ramachandraji. She was chaste. She was taken by Ravan. She was humiliated. Despite people saying this, people always chit-chat. But Sitaji never lost her purity. She was pure. What Bhagwan Swaminarayan has referred to as Prativrattapanu. She was faithful to one partner. And as if that was not enough to stop people having doubts, Ramachandraji even made Sita go through what we call the Agni Pariksha, the fire ordeal. He knew that she was pure, but so others would not doubt her, she remained untouched by the fire. This was Sitaji. That's why Ramachandraji says, Sita Satyam, I understood how genuine, how great, how pure, how chaste Sitaji is. And that's why Bhagwan Swaminarayan says in the Vaishtamrit, Kadra section 2, number 28, that out of all the women in the world, 2 stand out. Number 1, Sitaji. Number 2, Draupadi. And then Ramachandraji goes on to say, Mama Bhuja Balam. I understood my own strength. And he says, Vairinam Vaira Bhavaha. I understood how strong my enemies were. I never realized that people could be so strong. But despite that, despite their strength, Ramachandraji managed to fight them off. So he says at the end to Kaikeyi Mata, Gnatam Sarvam Tava Charanayo Mataresha Prasadaha. Oh Mother, because of your grace, because of your blessings, I would never have realized the greatness of all these people. So this is what Ramachandraji said. What he learnt, what he was grateful for to Mata Kaikeyi after returning, after 14 years of exile in the forest. So not only was he grateful, but he was happy to learn so much, and he said that was because of your blessings. That is what he said to Kaikeyi Mata. And a final thing that we'll look at is that he wished her well. You know, words are easy to say, relatively easy. You may also, praise people in front of others. But to wish that person well from the heart requires a lot of compassion, requires sympathy, requires empathy. And that is what Ramchandra Bhagwan did. He wished Queen Kaikeyi well. Otherwise, he could have locked her up in prison for the rest of her life. He could have punished her. He could have done whatever he wanted. He was the king after all. After those 14 years, the power was in his hands. We are all meek and humble. But when power comes in our hands, what happens? Someone has said, power corrupts. But absolute power corrupts absolutely. Ramachandraji had absolute power. He could have done whatever he wanted. However, he decided to look after Queen Kaikeyi. He wished her well. Bhagavan Swaminarayan has said, Gali danam tadanam cha krutam kumatibir janaihi. That if someone humiliates you, if someone swears at you, then what do? Not the usual tolerance, or not just the usual tolerance, or forgive and forget. But Bhagavan Swaminarayan goes one step further. He says, Shantavyam eva sarvesham chintaniyam hitam chatehi. He says that you should forgive that person, yes, but you should also wish for their betterment. Wishing for the benefit of those that insult you or humiliate you, that is the ultimate. So Ramchandra Bhagwan had so much kindness in his heart, he wished Queen Kaikeyi well. It is said, the most valuable real estate is the space you occupy in the hearts of other people. That's real estate, that's genuineness, and that's how our actions should be if we want to be happy. So look at Ramachandraji. This was just one action. But look at his drashti, his perspective. He chose to look at the glass. But to him, the glass was not half empty. The glass was half full. Ramachandraji, he chose to see the water. He chose to see the good. He chose to see the positive. And that's why he was happy. Monsoon Mirage, our Guru, teaches us, if you want to be happy, spread the fragrance of positivity all around you, and that will also brush onto other people. So it is our perspective that happens to be the most important thing, what determines who we are and determines our happiness. Because the way we see things, that shapes our thoughts. The way we think, that shapes our actions. And the way we conduct or behave ourselves, that shapes our lives. And the way we live, that is what determines who we are and determines whether we are happy or not. So taking this leaf, let us pray to God and to Guru to take this leaf out of the book of Sri Ramchandra Bhagwan and imbibe those noble virtues that are present in everyone. Don't look at the flaws. Look at the positive. And may we imbibe those noble virtues in each and every one we see. Seek out those virtues and aim to imbibe those virtues and make our lives sweet and sublime. Jai Swaminarayan. We'll take one question. We've been hearing a lot about the power of prayer at this time, and even saw the BAPS Hindu member praying for peace alongside President Trump during the National Day of Prayer at the White House last week. How can we effectively pray to God? The question about prayer often arises in our minds. Prayer is not just speaking or physically asking something of God. Prayer is more about our emotions, our feelings, our sentiments when we speak to God. Whether we speak physically, whether we speak loudly, or whether we are just thinking, speak silently. Pramukh Swami Maharaj often used to say, in prayer, it is not how well you arrange your words that counts, but it is how well you arrange your heart. It is the purity of the heart that reaches God faster than any beautiful prayer written. So it is our genuineness, our purity, our faith, our devotion that matters most in prayer. The Bhagavad talks about Prahaladji, Dhruv, Draupadi asking Krishna Bhagwan. These are prayers that we've all heard of, praying with intense faith and devotion. God listens to those prayers. Once there was a small boy, he was kneeling before God and saying something. The person next to him couldn't quite catch what he was saying. But those words, they weren't even probably words, but they were all mumbled. And then the person found out that this child is praying to God. And he's basically saying A, B, C, D, E, F. Yeah, what are you doing? The boy said he was praying to God. So this was overheard. The boy was praying to God. He's saying, God, I don't know how to construe beautiful statements, but I know the letters of the alphabet. You arrange those letters in whichever way you want to make the words that you would like to hear from me. This is the power of prayer. That God listens to those prayers. So much devotion, so much genuineness. So praying to God, and even it is said that if the only prayer you said was thank you, we heard about how grateful we should be. But if the only prayer you ever said to God was thank you, forget everything else, even that would be enough. Sometimes we forget to thank God for what we have. We take things for granted. So even saying thank you is a prayer in itself. So effectively praying to God involves feelings, emotions, being genuine, and God will listen to those prayers, and God will answer those prayers. Jai Swaminarayan.